So, good morning, signature agents, and welcome to the office meeting at Spanish Ridge or Southwest, whatever your preference is, it's all the same place. Most of you in the audience seem to think this is church, and you're sitting on the back row. This is not church. You can move up front. So, first of all, wants and needs. Does anybody have a house they need to find or a house they want to sell? I'll put it out there into the universe. Roy, I'm counting on you because you're the one that always comes through.
For sure. So we have a one-story in Henderson, 2 bedroom, single story back on the market, 335. I mean, 380. So it's. And we have a single story. I'm sorry. They're going. Yeah. So that's. So then we also have a single story on 89123, and that has 3 bedrooms, pool, RV parking. That one's getting a lot of traction, but no offers yet, so come on over. And then we have one in Sun City. So there's 3 bedrooms for the Sun City one in Anthem, not just Summer. So it's very rare to have a 3 bedroom for Sun City. So please bring your 55 and over clients. So that one is almost, 17. Let me find out for sure, though. Just a second. And mine is, that's it.
Okay, thank you, Roy. Anybody else have a listing they want to sell?
I have a coming soon listing in North Las Vegas, off of East Commerce and basically VA, 2,240 square feet. It's gonna be coming on the market at about 435, and it is VA assumable at 3.99. Well, we're about ready to sign that one. They kind of have. They're being relocated. Trying to get them out of it and help them out without costing them that same money. But that'll be coming on probably Thursday-ish.
Anybody else? Yes, what's that?
We have a 2,700 square foot home at Carson Ranch located off of 215 in Jones. 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths with a swimming pool, 3-car garage. That's at $650.
What's the address?
6180 Hollywood.
Anybody else?
Revisit.
Okay, revisit.
The property that's coming on is only 1 year old. It's built in 2021 is brand new. It's Commerce. Remember this.
Okay, if that's it for wants and needs. Shelley with Prosperity Lending.
Do I have to speak up or just act like I? Oh, this?
No, it's around one.
All right, happy Tuesday, everyone.
Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Okay, I'm going to talk about something called LLPA. What does that mean? Really? Say it with me. LLPA. 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 What? It's like Tuesday morning. So LLPA means loan level price adjusters. Why does that matter to you guys? Loan level price adjusters. That's how we price our loans. So depending upon a credit score, a loan to value, debt to income ratio, whether it's a purchase, a refinance, a cash out, we have these LLPAs that actually affect a buyer's interest rate. So come May 1st, there are going to be changes to the LLPA. Awesome. And what, for conventional financing only, why is that important for conventional financing? How many of your buyers today are conventional buyers? Right? 70%? Do you think higher? About 70%. That's what last year our conventional files were 70% of all of our transactions. So high percentage here in Vegas as far as buyers. So the reason this matters is the change in May, which is actually going to, you'll start to see this or hear this, is going to affect two main things. Number one, it's going to be credit. So today, 740 is your high loan level price adjuster, meaning that anything over a 740, you pretty much there was no price adjustment for it. That's like it's being moved up.
Oh, wow.
You have to have a better FICO score. That's 780 now. So anybody at a 740 FICO score, maybe, anybody at a 740 FICO score is going to have a little bit of a price adjuster today. The other thing, which I think is bigger than that, is debt to income ratio.
Just the days it starts.
May 1st. May 1st, but a lot of the lenders are going to start to roll this out because it's delivery by May 1st, which would mean basically anything locked in April, right? So people are going to start to take this into effect. So debt to income ratio, anybody over a 40% and credit scores, I love my sound effects, is going to be getting a LLPA added to them. Where today we don't have any adjusters, so meaning that you could go up to 50% on your debt to income ratio, and we're not adding any additional cost basically associated with that loan. So come May 1st or sooner, you're going to start to see basically a higher price for that. So what I wanted to do is share with you an example of what that would look like. So today, a 95%, 5% down payment, 740 FICO, you're going to have an LLP of 0.25%. Really doesn't matter to you today, but the rate we would price out at 6.625, no cost. Whenever they decide to roll this out, and definitely by May 1st, a borrower who has a 740 FICO score is now going to be priced out at a 6.875 if that were today, based on our LLPA. Does that make sense to you guys? And then, okay, so today, if I were to price that before with our old, what they call old LLPA, that interest rate today would be 6.625. Come, say, May 1st, or when we're about to deliver this, that rate, that same exact borrower would be priced out at a rate of 6.875. Why is that important to you guys? A little bit, but it's also going to affect their price. It's going to affect their ability to purchase, or it's going to bring more. You'd have to pay more to get that rate at 6.625. You can still get that rate, but it may cost more. The other thing, when we talked about debt to income ratio, so how many of your buyers you think push over 40% on your debt to income ratio? Majority, high percentage of them. So today, that same 6.625 with a 740 FICO, but a high DTI of over 40% is actually going to cost 7.125 versus 6.625, or cost them 1%. I don't mean to be Debbie Downer, but I want to definitely be able to provide you guys with this information because you're going to start to hear this. Most of our lenders today are starting to shift into this model, even though it's not effective until May 1st, but it is delivery on it. So just, if you ever hear a lender saying, hey, well, their debt to income ratio is over 40%, it could affect your buyer's cost or interest rate. And again, this is just for conventional financing, so it doesn't affect your FHA or VA buyers. Any questions on this?
So that really also means that whatever a lender quotes you in the beginning
Yeah.
is completely bogus.
So if your lenders aren't paying attention to this today, which is why we're early on this, right? Because it doesn't really take into effect until maybe April-ish, we'll start to see this. We are already starting to kind of prepare for that from a qualifying standpoint. 0.25% just in interest rate, not necessarily where we're saying, hey, by the way, your rate's going to be 6.875 come May 1st. But if we're having them go out there and shop, we want to make sure that if there is a shift and it is impacted, that we're at least preparing for that. So you aren't into a home, all of a sudden we're in April and now this shift happens. We're like, oh, by the way, we have either additional cost or now the buyer can't qualify for that amount. Does that make sense?
But if they're locked in April.
Yeah, whenever these take place, if they're locked in, you're good to go. Yeah. But you'll start to see that shift in the next month or so.
I have another question about credit score.
Yeah.
So how is it husband and wife when they're so different? They can be very different. How does that average? How do they get the overall score, but husband and wife both are the purchasers.
So no matter who's on the file or who's on the loan, they're always going to look at, we pull up all three bureaus, they're gonna look at the middle of the lower borrower.
Okay.
So if the husband has the lower FICO score, then we would use the husband's middle of the three, the lower, or of any of the borrowers. Great question. Any other questions for me? No? Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Shelley. So next we have our educational director, Lois, who has a lot of classes coming up in February. So go, Lois.
Okay, hi guys. Just to let you know, I have a class tomorrow, and these are out on the little table out there. And then a week of post, and then the following week, I've got 2 Zoom classes. Okay, so if you want to see those, is anybody not getting my emails?
So I had a call from an agent last week when you did a Zoom call, and she said, I can't find the link for the Zoom call. Where is it? And it was like 5 to 9, and the class was going to start at 9. And I said, honestly, I can't tell you because I've never taken one of Lois's classes by Zoom.
You know what, she signed up like at 8:30.
Oh, God.
And by then, I'm zooming in on my Zoom
Gotcha.
class and not answering my emails. So that's why she knew that, yeah.
So Zoom takes some preparation. You can't decide at 5 of 9. Oh, I think I'm going to take a class this morning. I don't have anything else to do.
I'll send the email out the night before so that you have the link. I'll try to make it so we send your confirmation emails with the link in it already. This is March also, that's out there. There's 4 classes in March. But what I want to offer you guys too is, for you guys that don't come to those classes, I do have a continuing education tracker. So you can keep track of the CE classes that you take and put it somewhere safe, and you've got it, and then you'll know, it's got the course title, course number, the date completed, whether it was live or not. Okay, so I'll give this, if you want some, I'll have them in the back. Yeah, it's very
Very good.
popular. And I've got both regular and broker and broker salesperson.
Okay, thank you, Laura. Okay, so if you've been with us for any length of time, you know, normally when I have a portion of the office meeting, I can't just, they ask me for a name and I go, I'll just call it Janet's stuff. Well, today you're getting Janet's potpourri of stuff. There's going to be more than one stuff coming at you. So this is the way it's supposed to work. Your closing package comes into the office this morning. It's processed this afternoon. The check is sent to your bank. The bank holds it for 1 day, and then when you wake up on Thursday morning, your commission check is in your account. It's there. No muss, no fuss. Yeah, well, there's a lot of muss and there's a lot of fuss. And so our wonderful office manager and the person that writes your checks and pays you actually pay.
Are we sitting or are we standing? Are we sitting? Hi, everybody. Hi, guys.
Slowly.
Don't be a heckler. Okay, I'm going to talk slowly because I talk very fast. Or Janet listens too slow. Okay, so what's holding up your commission? For the first thing I get, every day I get this question. When am I getting paid? Where's my check? Can the closing package come in? And I always tell them, okay, it's a couple of steps before we get there, but I get that question in my inbox every day. So I just kind of broke down what the problem is that I'm seeing frequently that's holding up commissions in like a day. Because if you hold it a day, it's another day you're late on your payment because it's about a 48-hour payment schedule. So we try to do it as quickly as possible, but if there's something holding it up and you haven't fixed it in SkySlope, then it's another day. I also am going to go through forms that are frequently missing or have errors on them that are frequent as well, just so everybody has an idea of what it could be that's holding up your commission. Beta told me to hit down and I get to my next slide. This better be true. Beta. Is it this way? Okay. I was like, I swear he's giving me a hard time on purpose. Okay, so this is your commission disbursement form. This is the form that has to be in every single transaction, whether it be a rental, a referral, anything. This is the form that holds people up the most.
Well, where is that for?
This form can be either found on the signature website at mysignaturerei.com. It's under SRAG forms. It's under, I believe it's under disbursement form. If you can't find it, just let an office manager know. We can easily email it to you as well. It's also in SkySlope under SkySlope Suite, the forms. It's under there too. So you can find it in different places. But again, if you can't find it, just email one of your office managers. We can just get it to you. So one of the biggest issues is incorrect amounts. Like the amount doesn't match what came from title at all. And it could be different things. You gave a credit for a home warranty, you credited closing costs. Usually the commission check will tell you that at the top step, it'll tell you what the credits were. So we can kind of guess the credit. But if we can't and it's off, then we have to reach out and ask you, what is this? Do you know what this is? And depending on what agents respond to me and then fix this form, it could already been after cutoff. It's usually around 1, and then it delays you a whole other day. So we try to reach out to you as quickly as possible to let you know this is wrong. Another one is, and this happens a lot recently because we have a lot of team splits. It has to be very clear who the agent is, who the co-agent is, what each person is getting down to like the penny, to the cent. That way we know exactly what you're expecting to receive, what you think your team member is going to receive, and the deductions on that as well. A lot of the time, if one thing is off, the whole thing is off. Then we can't process it at all because the money is off. So that has to be correct as well, because again, a lot of people have team members now, so just keep that in mind. And another thing is referrals. Referrals, people will put it down here. You can see it says down here, referral fee for payable to. Just putting 25%, it's not going to work. It has to be an actual amount that is paid to the referral, and also who it's for. And also, if you're filling out the referral section, make sure that in your SkySlope file, you have your fully executed referral agreement, and then you also have their fully executed W-9 as well. Without those two things, even though it says your referral is being paid, we will not pay the referral until we have those documents, just so I know I am sending the check to the right place and to the right brokerage. So that's important as well, and a lot of people are missing that as well. Another thing that I've run into a lot this year is the transaction fee. It's $5.95 for everybody. I'm still seeing some people put different transaction fees. I just tell them it's $5.95. No one's argued with me on that, which is nice. But yeah, so $5.95 the transaction fee. Make sure to have that updated as well. Sometimes if it's something small like that, I'll literally make the update. I'll send it to the agent for initial. They'll initial it, and then I'll process it. So super easy. Just keep that in mind. Is there any questions on this part at all? Andrew? No? Okay. And again, if you have any problems, or sometimes it's an agent's first time filling this out, or if it's complicated sort of disbursement, just let me know and I can walk you through it, or I can even fill it out from seeing your commission instructions, and I can send it to you for approval as well. But the most complicated ones are usually Chris Bishop's, and we had Amy for that. That's crazy. Okay. Yeah, she is the most complicated. He's for sure. Oh, sorry. I'm not sure which ways to put it down as well. Okay. Now I have my forms that are frequently missing. So first is the repairs request. First, that's not even in there at all. And if it doesn't have any repairs, that's fine, because usually, like, Amy will mark no repairs, and I'll know to unmark that as, okay, we have no repairs in this one. But most times, if there's no repairs, that's fine. Make sure to note it in your file on the comment. You can just put a little comment and save. Sometimes there's a credit. It says seller will credit so-and-so amount. Just make sure to have the addendum for the repairs credit. That's all we ask. Most people have been doing it, but some people are missing it. So just keep that in mind when you're doing the repairs request. The walkthrough, that's always the last document I think everyone puts in. So when I go to the file and your closing comes in, the walkthrough is missing. Some agents have the walkthrough happening at a later date. I just need to know that information just so I know that it's coming, or they'll make it a note or email me. Just keep me posted on the walkthrough, but that's usually the last document that I'm seeing missing from files. The notice of broker compensation invoice, or the buyer broker agreement. Some agents are charging your $5.95 or whatever you're charging, but they're not including you're not including forms for it. So I either needed the notice of BAC, which is right there, I need that form for your transaction fee, or you can put it, if you're the listing agent, on your listing agreement, you can put that on your listing agreement. It's page 2, line 20. You can just add the amount right on there. Super easy. So also that if some people do the buyer broker agreement, that's fine too. I just need one or the other of those two things to kind of cover your transaction fee. The listing agreement, this is where we're having issues. So like I said, you can charge the buyer broker the fee right there on page 2, line 20. Missing broker initials. Page 5, line 22. This is the biggest one. Line 20 and the initial and a signature. Sometimes the agent also hasn't signed the page 10. They've also haven't signed. So usually I'll try to send it to the broker and to the agent so you can just get it all done at once. But sometimes I don't have time. I'm just like hurrying up and saying, please get this signed. But on the listing agreement, that is what's missing a lot.
Can I interrupt you for just a second?
Yeah.
So if you're taking a listing and you don't have the broker's signature on the listing and you're getting it signed at the last minute, guess what? You don't have a valid listing agreement. To be a valid listing agreement, it must have the broker's signature. And I actually know a broker, not with this company, with another company, who had a very savvy seller come in. He hated his agent, wanted it done, and she's like, no, the broker's like, no, I'm not going to release you. We have a listing agreement. He said, well, number one, I never got a copy of it. So not only does this broker need to sign it, but you need to give a copy of that listing with the broker's signature back to your seller for it to be valid. And the broker had no choice but to let this guy out of his very expensive listing because one, he didn't have a copy, and when she pulled up the copy that was in the file, there was no broker's signature. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, that one's happening a lot. And so I just keep that in mind. And also I get a lot of questions. Who's my broker in which office? So if you're signing your Spanish Ridge Southwest, it's Janet. For Northwest, it's this one here, the troublemaker, Tom Sanford. Sun City is Chris Bishop. And for Green Valley, it's Todd Barton. So just make sure to send it to your correct broker because I get that question a lot as well. Those are your brokers. If you don't know, just email us. Okay, next slide. Sorry guys, I think I'm holding it the wrong way. Okay, there we go. Okay, another one is, so for deals in Skyslope, we don't make the HOA forms required because if you don't have an HOA in a property, it holds up your file because it's saying these are missing. So we require agents to, if you know you have an HOA in the property, you're responsible for putting a CIC receipt and also the did you know you're in a common interest community form, but did you know HOA is what I call it. So those are forms that sometimes agents have them, they just don't realize because it wasn't required. They think, oh, I have to pop that in there. But we would say, hey, has an HOA, so they already have them too. So just keep that in mind. If you're in an HOA, those two forms are required. Also, LLC docs for clients, if your client is in an LLC or whatnot, and we see it as the client name is, so LLC, we need the LLC docs. It's sort of down at the bottom of the list, but we still need it in the file just so we have it. Also, the lead-based paint disclosure, the big one. Agents will upload it, but miss sections like whole initials or just any little section, even their own little initial on the form. So always keep in mind where everything is. And if you have any questions on the lead base, just ask us. But usually we'll send it back and say, hey, and I'll usually like edit it and circle like this section's missing, because some people just don't see it because there's a lot of different fields on it. So keep that in mind as well. And like I said, sometimes when we're doing your closing comes in, it doesn't match what's in the file. I'll go to your commission instructions to make sure that what I got from title matches what's in your file, but it doesn't help me when you guys haven't updated the commission instructions. Some agents don't update when the price changes or it reduces or goes up, so I just need to make sure to have that so it matches what I have, and that way I can just make the two make sense together. So make sure to do that as well. So those are the kind of the things I have that have been issues. I think most agents actually are doing pretty good. A lot of files lately are doing extremely well. And then I always just tell people, just be aware of your timeline as you're closing. Usually want to hear by 1. Compliance, we've been checking everything. We've been doing a lot of pre-checks, so your file's already checked by the time your closing comes in here. That way, if there's any sort of error or something's missing, we've let you know way before the closing comes in, so it can be fixed. So that way, your closing comes in, it's a smooth sailing process, and then you'll see your ACH payment in like 48 hours from when it comes. If it comes after the cutoff, remember that will be the next day processing. That will be another day. Agents don't understand that. I can't process all the way till 3 or 4. It's too hard to do both. So just keep that in mind as well. But like I said, everyone's been doing really well, and all the agents are really nice. So
Any questions for Ashley?
we're good. Awesome. Thank you guys. Megan, here.
And so I want to thank our person at the front desk, Savannah, who did this really cutesy little PowerPoint. I'm very talented. Okay, next in our potpourri of events, we have Angela Hutchins. Come on up, Angela. Okay, so if you spend any time in the office, maybe you've seen Angela around. Some of you have no idea who she is, why she's here, what she's doing. So we're going to take care of that. Angela, you came over when? Right before Thanksgiving?
Yeah, like September.
September. And so Angela came over as a new title, broker associate. So can you tell us what a broker associate is? Because quite frankly, I've never heard that term ever.
Sure, I think Chris came up with it, or is that associate manager that Roya, she's my counterpart at the Green Valley location, and they brought us in as additional agent support, kind of like a sales manager. If you've been in other brokerages, they have that title as well. And we're basically just here for you, just to kind of be another line of support, because we have about 150 agents at certain offices, and that's a lot of agents, and that could be a lot of questions for our brokers. I'm sorry?
Yeah, like 220, I think you guys have.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we're just here for you guys, and that's fine.
So put her number in your phone, get to know her, and she'll be a really good resource because you're not just another pretty face. Tell us what you did before you came to Signature.
So I ran a team at my other brokerage, and I've been doing this since 2007. And my office is actually to the left of Ashley. So if I'm not in there, I'm on the app. Come up and get my cell phone number. I have some cards on my refrigerator. And Chris actually trained me. So for many years, I know.
It's you.
Yeah. So for many years, I ran a team with Chris, and so I'm definitely trained by the best. And I'm just happy to share that information with you guys.
So I'm not here all the time, but I'm here all the time compared to some brokers. So if you ever need help and I'm at the board with my phone turned off, check with Angela for any backup that you might need. She's knowledgeable, she's experienced. And so just one more thing, Angela, tell us a little bit about you personally.
Sure. So I have a 9-year-old son. I live in Henderson now. I actually lived central. I grew up central as well here in Las Vegas. I went to Trinity, a really small private school off of East Sahara, Maryland Parkway, down there by the Old Gorman. And my son is 9. He goes to Green Valley Christian over there by the Green Valley office. It's kind of close to Roya. Yeah, so I'm actually new to the Henderson area recently, and I really love it. And it's actually, I'm sorry? Yes. Yeah, I just got accepted into the class of 2023 for our Nevada State Leadership training, if you call it, and Tom, I'm sorry? A program, thank you.
It's an experience.
Program experience training. I'm really excited to do that.
It is an experience.
Yeah, and I get to spend all that, special time with Tom. So, yeah.
Anything else you want us to know? So be sure you put her phone number in your phones. She's on the app. You can reach her numerous ways, but she is here to help you if you should need it. So the next thing on our agenda of potpourri items is going to be, you can change the slides now, prospecting. Now, I know it's the first of the year, every meeting it's been prospecting. Oh, I guess we can change it. Yay! So, and I know a number of you just finished Brandon's Real Estate Academy where he really truly emphasized your sphere of influence. He emphasized FISBOs, expireds, and door knocking. But there's all kinds of prospecting. And so Angela and I are, this is a little chart. My apologies to RPR, which used to be known as CRS, for stealing their chart, but I found this very valuable. And we're going to talk about some of the different kinds of prospects other than, oh, get to pick up the phone and call somebody. So I will tell you, one of my favorites that made really good money for me in years past was prospecting out of state owners. You need to find a neighborhood where the people living there have had equity and where there are a number of investors, either mom and pop who live in New Jersey and hey, on a whim, they bought a house in Las Vegas, or people who were living in Las Vegas and moved for whatever reason but kept their house. And what you need to do is send them a short little letter that says, "Dear," whatever the names are you interested in selling your home at such and such an address? The Las Vegas market is really hot and we have a true shortage of inventory. If interested, please contact me. 2, 3 sentences at the most. Because if you write them an entire letter and oh, the last sales in your neighborhood were blah, 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 they're not going to read that. It's going straight in the garbage. Enclose 2 cards in case they lose one, or it's a husband and wife, and the wife will take a card, the husband might take a card, and it's like any other kind of fun. It's not going to be immediate, but I will tell you, I'm going to give you 2 examples that worked really well for me. I did this, and it's easy. Now, when I did it, we were physically going through, my partner and I, the tax star, and pulling out the out-of-state owners. It was a lot of work, rough work. And she would put it into a spreadsheet that said, here's the address, here's the owner's name, here's the square footage, here's anything else you need to know. So it needs to be a neighborhood that you're familiar with, because you're going to be driving down the road and somebody from, in my case, Hawaii is going to call you to make sure you do know about their neighborhood and their house. Excuse me. So I sent out one letter to a person in Hawaii, and they called me. And they said, yes, I have a rental in Las Vegas that's becoming available, and I'm going to be coming into Las Vegas, and I'd like to meet with you and talk to you about my house. So we met. He hated the property management company he was with. There's no way he was listing with them. I listed the property. Sold it myself. Now, we weren't as advanced back then as we are now because I wasn't smart enough to get a tax star and pull up his name and address and see if he owned any other properties in Las Vegas. But guess what? He did. So about 6 months after I sold his listing myself, he called me again. And he said, hey, I have another property. It's becoming vacant. I'd like for you to list it. Here's all the information. I'm going to be sending you a key. I've got my keys back from the property management company. So listed that one, and it's sold. And a couple of months goes by, and he calls me again. He said, I have one last property in Las Vegas. This one's in Green Valley that I'm going to sell. So in about a year and a half's time, for the cost of a stamp, I ended up with 4 transactions. This works. And then I have one other, a guy that owned 3 houses on what I call the perfume streets, or the perfume neighborhood. It's off Nellis and just east of Craig Road, and all the streets are named after perfumes, Shalimar, Jantu, Lancome. He had 3 properties that he had bought when he was stationed at Nellis. And he was getting ready to dump them. So he was now retired in Montana. He'd drive his truck in. He'd bring a cooler, a radio, a coffee pot, and a cot. And he fixed up the rentals as they became available. He'd live there, he'd paint, he'd repair, whatever. And then he'd call me and say, it's ready to put on the market. I'm leaving in the morning. Come on over. He has 3 properties that I listed all 3 of them. So it really works. And at the same time I was doing this, there was an agent in my office that was from New York. I mean, you say 2 words to her and you know this girl was from New York. And she farmed out-of-state owners in New York. Every one of her short 2 or 3 sentence letters to her prospective sellers said, hey, fellow New Yorker. She did a booming business. So I'm telling you, this is a different method of prospecting that I personally have had tremendous success with. So
How would we find that list today instead of the text
today,
one?
it's so easy. All you have to do is call your favorite marketing rep from your favorite title company and they'll bring it to you or email it to you, whatever was their better. So it couldn't be easier. But here's the key too. On the envelope that you send out, no mailing labels, hand address the envelope and a real stamp because they'll open it because they don't think it's junk mail. And when they open it and those 2, 3 sentences pass by their eyeballs on the way to the trash, they might just go, oh, wait, I think I'll hold on to this. It's not immediate, but I'm telling you, over 4 or 5 years, it was a little cash cow. Your favorite one, Angela?
My favorite one is one that I'm personally working on right now. Farm or neighborhood prospecting. So since I just moved, I thought it'd be a great opportunity to start a new farm. And I've had farms before in like my favorite neighborhoods in Mountain's Edge and places where I sold a large, quantity of properties. And it was actually fairly easy. I used 3-click postcards. You like it too? And it's about, I wrote down about $80 mailed per 100. So, and what you do is on 3-click postcards, you write down the subject property, which can be if it's your new neighborhood or your new farm. I think that's a good starting point for someone wanting to start a farm because you live there and you could say hi neighbor or hi fellow New Yorker, like Janet said. But hi neighbor, I just moved here, just want to introduce myself. But you can do your address as the property address or just select another house in the neighborhood that was recently just listed on the MLS, and then you can select 100, 200, 300 properties around the subject property. And it's about $80 sent out, so it's pretty affordable. If you kind of want to do that 1 or 2 times a month, it's kind of something that I'm going to start focusing on to start. And so what I'm doing personally, and they had it kind of labeled on here as well, is a neighborhood letter, like a newsletter. There isn't anything that people are doing in there right now in my neighborhood. And so I thought highlighting other small businesses in the area. So I've been talking to like the nail salon gal and people that I've been meeting as I'm learning my new neighborhood. And so I can highlight them and then have a little line that says, if you want to be featured in our next newsletter, email Angela, have my email there. I thought that might be a nice way to meet the neighbors, introduce myself, and then also a good way to be updated on the stats is set yourself up on a search for your neighborhood. So I get like all the new listings. So I know all the activity going on. And it also reminds me to check like what's being sold, what's pending, what's going on in my neighborhood. So then I'm known as the new expert in the area. I've never sold one in there, but they don't know that. So, and it doesn't hurt to just relay that information of new listings. Um, Also, we're sharing vendors. We're sharing our favorite handyman, plumbers, electricians with all of our clients all the time. Like we're getting asked, I mean, we even see it on our Facebook, who has a great painter, who has a great handyman. So why don't we share that in our newsletters to our neighbors in the area? So I'm going to do that as well. And also quarterly do like a neighborhood event. I'm just kind of brainstorming with myself right now, but like maybe a cars and coffee or an Easter egg hunt for the kids or something holiday themed, I don't know. Yeah, hot dogs, exactly, as it warms up. And then also a neighborhood prospect around your open houses. When you're door knocking, you can leave them something. If you knock on the door, drop it and run, but and I noticed, in the process of door knocking, you're coming face to face with clients. I mean, this is a belly to belly personal business, and I think the more you do it, the better you get at it. And just talking to people and having those conversations, but of course having something of value for them, which would be those stats. Order door hangers. I think if you connect with you can connect with the lender, Shelley, or a title company, they're happy to help you figure that out, like door hangers to leave. She's nodding yes. And then also maybe some little gifts, holiday gifts, Thanksgiving, with one coming up, Valentine's Day. You can go to the Dollar Tree. I know one of my lenders likes to go to the Dollar Tree and get some items, and then she gives them to all of us agents, and I really appreciate that. And my son does too, because it's usually candy. So, but just give them a little treat, and then like how like offensive is that if you're just leaving something for your neighbor? So those are my two favorites right now.
Oh, yay, thank you. So, question? Oh. Okay, so another thing that worked really well for me, and this can be kind of tricky, was one time I was doing a lot of new construction sales. And I was in this particular neighborhood, and it just so worked out that I had 3 clients in a row who this one neighborhood was convenient for them, an area that they wanted, and they had darn near 3 standing inventories. So I sold 3 as they were closing out. Some of their last homes, like in a week and a half. So what I did was I sent out just sold cards to the neighborhood on each of those homes. Now, mostly you see like the models as you pull up to the neighborhood, the models are in the front. And everybody in the neighborhood has to drive by the models to get to where they're going. But in this particular neighborhood, they started building from the front, and the models were the last row. So neighbors who had bought up here probably didn't even know that, hey, these homes are still back here and still being sold. So I sent out 3 just listed postcards about a week and a half, 2 weeks apart. And then within about, I don't know, 9 months, I owned that neighborhood. It was mostly military, and there was not a house in that neighborhood that was listed that I did not list, because they thought, look at her. She sold 3 houses in our neighborhood in a week. We have to call her. And generally speaking, if they're calling you, they're going to go with you. They're not going to, they say, oh, we're interviewing other agents. They're probably not. Because if they like you on the first meeting, they're probably going to list with you. But sending out just sold to new neighborhoods also worked very well for me in the past. But you have to be sure that, yeah, all the neighbors aren't driving by the last models that are up for sale as they come in to the neighborhood.
I'm pretty sure the postcards on 3 Click Postcards sends it out to the owners.
They send it out, yeah.
because I've had that phone call. I have your postcard right here on my desk, and on this property that you just sold, or this property that you just listed, I'm ready to list my parcel, and I love that.
Can you, what the hell's 3-click post?
It's spelled out THREE,
Yeah.
click postcards.com.
It's just
It's
a
a-
marketing service for, postcards, make
I
it
was trying to
really
figure out.
easy.
3-click postcard.
It's 3 clicks, you can send out a postcard.
Do not use out there, a company that I used, and I have a feeling, because I would put my own address in it, and I never got it, I think it's take my money, and I can't, send cards, I think is what it's called.
Don't use them, you said?
Do not. use them.
Okay.
That's why I said 3-click.
Yeah, this one I did, because I did use that one 2 years ago.
I mean,
I did use them, and I never knew that. Oh,
I always have them send one to myself as well. So
Yeah,
you'll
they
see on my
are.
order, I have 202 postcards.
And you can
in
also
that.
have them send extra to you, so if you do door knocking, you can have them send you like 50 extra.
right,
You can, or you have your team members go out and do the door knocking and hand out the postcard.
right.
But it's just basically another way for you guys to do marketing. That's, I mean, it's
good.
And it does it in 3 clicks. So like you already
It is
have
really
it already
easy.
done, so you just go in and do, and it's done.
Yeah,
Do,
and
do, do.
and I think I found either they were spamming me and I was like, let's try it
Yeah,
out.
me
But
too.
I think it's through prospects, right?
I don't know, I just came
Somehow
across
they're
it, you know,
connected
constantly.
through
I was
their-
like, oh, whatever, let's try it.
Yeah, and it has
And it was not expensive.
no, and if I remember, it's kind of linked to my MLS because I think I was able to easily select the listing that I wanted
Oh, yeah, because
to
they're all
market.
listed. All your listings are listed on there too. You can just
Yes.
select which ones you want done.
Yeah, and it has
You're right.
history on there
Yeah.
as well. So you're like, oh, I just sold this one, so it's super easy. 3-click postcard.
Good deal.
Yeah.
And they also send you an email after it was sent out, which I like, with your whole mailing list.
Yep.
So that's kind of neat. It gives you your receipt, your mailing list, no phone numbers. But it does send out to those absentee owners if you're trying to get that in your farm.
It won't send to the tenants, it will send directly to the.
To the owner on file. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily send it to the property. Not always, yeah.
So another good prospecting thing that I've never used, but I've known 2 agents that did it very successfully, and I would think it would work very well today, is farm renters. Not necessarily, you can do houses, hey, there are all the 5 tenants in this neighborhood, I'm going to send them anytime something in their neighborhood becomes available, I'm going to send them a postcard. But I know 2 agents that farmed high-end apartment complexes. And today, if you're going to be putting down your first and last month's rent and a security deposit and paying the rent on these high-end apartment complexes, those people can afford to buy. And so I know 2 agents that the apartment complex that's on the corner of Town Center, just as you start to turn right onto Summerlin Parkway, very high-end apartment complex. Yeah, like something called, yeah. That farmed that neighborhood, and it's not going to be immediate like any other farming. You gotta, till the soil, plant the seeds, water it, whatever, because people have leases. But in the long run, with consistency, these people who could afford these rents and all these deposits became buyers. So farming high-end apartment complexes where they have to have the money to live there, that works also. So any questions on any of these? These are just different ideas that you can use, different ideas of places to go. I don't want to pick up the phone because they can see me, I'm sure, and I'm embarrassed, and when they reject me, no, I can't see you. But these are just different avenues that you might pursue that might pay off. It's called farming for a reason. It's going to take a while. Tom, yes, sir?
All of these work if you work.
Yeah.
Right? If you bounce around and do one, and then go to another one, and then go to another one, you keep starting at ground zero. Right? So consistency is the thing, the key to any prospecting. So find the ones that you will do and do the shit up. Okay? Just do it. because otherwise, you're just wasting your time.
So, if you need any explanation on this of what each one is, give Angela or myself a call, shoot us an email, whatever, and we'll answer. I just want to update you on a couple of things. I did talk last week about political affairs, which is meeting Thursday at 8:30 at the association. It's going to be on sewers and the water authority, something you all need to know about. However, I think this is the situation. I think the classroom, it has been totally filled and it's overflowing with people who RSVP to come. So if you just want the information and not credit for attending political affairs, you can go into LVR, go to committees, scroll down the committee list till you get to public affairs, and they will be Zooming that session. So I think that's the only way you can get in because they are not taking reservations anymore. So if you want the information on, hey, no more sewers and what's happening with water, political affairs,
Septic?
8:30 Thursday.
Is it septic, regarding the septic?
Yeah. Septic, yeah.
Well, oh yeah, no more septic, yeah.
It's like, no more
You have to
sewers,
convert
what?
to sewer. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're doing outhouses now. So the other announcement I want to make, I don't know where he was, when he was sitting in the back, is as soon as all the paperwork is completed, Sun City office will have a new broker, and that will be Andrew Lunsford. So Sun City, once Andrew's paperwork comes through, you'll be sending your paperwork to Andrew for signatures, initials,
Where's
and,
Chrissy going?
huh?
Where's Chris? Isn't Chris?
Chris is still babysitting me.
Chris filled in there his broker's license by necessity at the time, and Chris' title is actually general manager. So he's everywhere. And babysitting Tom is his full-time job.
His physical office is at the Northwest office, Chris's.
So, all right, so other things I want you to know. Next week's office meeting, we're back to our normal rotation. It will be the second Tuesday, and it will be in Green Valley. Roya, do you guys have a topic or
Yes.
anything?
We do, I'm sure. I know we have, I don't know how, we do have something. I don't know if we're announcing what it is because, I know Inspirata will be there.
Ooh.
I don't really know. I don't really know.
Valentine's
It'll be a surprise.
After this meeting, I'll let you.
Surprise.
But just come everybody, just come.
Next Tuesday in Green Valley. The Tuesday after that's going to be in Northwest.
Yeah,
Have you planned something?
possibly,
Are you going to tell us?
not yet.
Okay.
I'm deciding on which one to use. Split between, video stuff or 23, other things, a list.
So it could
I have
be,
so much stuff in my brain, it's hard to choose.
it could be Tom's potpourri. Okay, so now Brandon just finished up the end of January, his famous signature real estate academy. And I will tell you, when he started teaching this, he taught it once a quarter. And it was just taught at Summerlin. And then it was still once a quarter, and it alternated between Green Valley and Summerlin. And then obviously we didn't teach it during COVID. And then last year he was gone most of the time or busy with meetings due to being president of LVR that he didn't do it either. So he's trying to make up for lost time. And he's going to be doing it, his schedule permitting, the last full week of every month. So the next Real Estate Academy is going to be February the 20th through the 24th, Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5, and it's going to be right here in this room. Now, it's free. It is a commitment. You will get business out of it. On the board are the stats from January's class. They got 16 appointments, 73 leads, 576 contracts and they really, contacts, not contracts.
That's a lot
And
of
they really
contracts.
work. It is a commitment. If you can't come Monday through Friday, be here at 8:30 and plan on staying maybe till 5, don't make the commitment. Because you might be taking a seat away from someone else because we only fit so many who needs it. And how do you RSVP for this? RSVP to Brandon in the app, and he will get you enrolled. Okay, so going into
Really
effect,
quickly, gentlemen, I'm gonna co-sign on that too, guys. If you guys have never been to the academy, I 100% recommend going, because realistically, it's just as good, if not better, than going to a Pike Ferry, a Tom Ferry, or any of the other major ones that you go out there. You're gonna spend $5.95 minimum to go to one of those things, especially for the 5 days, and you can go get business out of it, like you see on the board. If you're scared of cold calls, scared of door knocks, scared of doing anything, just because most people are scared because they don't know what to say or how to say it realistically, this is exactly what you want for you guys. I guarantee you will learn so much out of it. It's way more valuable than spending the time sitting in an office trying to figure out what you're going to do for your day.
and it's not just for new agents. I try to go to every graduation, which there's a little graduation ceremony on Friday. And one time it was in Green Valley, and there was an agent there in the class, and I went, she's in this class? God, she's been an agent forever. And so when she got up to accept her diploma, she said, I've been a realtor for over 20 years, and I know what to do. I quoted this a million times. I never forget it. She said, I've taken Tom Ferry. I've taken Mike Ferry. I've taken Brian Buffini. I've been through Sweat Hogs. She said, I know what to do. I just don't do it.
Yeah.
So this was the kick in the pants that I really, really needed. So if you're a 10, 15-year realtor and you need a kick in the pants, this will be it. So just RSVP with Brandon. Now, the MLS came up with a new policy. The LVR Board of Directors approved it starting February 17th. I think you already knew you can't use another agent's photos without their permission or paying them. You should know that. But you can't use their remarks either. So if you went, whoa, this listing expired and the previous agent used really good remarks, I'm just going to copy it. No, it's going to be a $250 fine. So no plagiarizing. Just so you knew that. Post licensing, if you're a new agent in your first year of real estate, you need post licensing. It will be February 13th through the 17th, 9 to 4, 3 to signature agents right here. Just RSVP with Lois. And then Tom, you're having a class tomorrow. You want to talk about it?
Yeah, just tips and tricks on Sky Slope. We'll go over how to navigate it, how to make sure that you get your docs into the file just through email, little stuff like that.
And it'll be at the Northwest office.
Northwest, it conflicts with Lois, so go to
What time
Lois
is it?
maybe.
What time?
10:30.
10:30.
Tomorrow, 10:30?
Yep.
It'll be on the signature app thing,
What?
we could see it.
Oh, to watch it later? No, I don't like videoing anything.
No,
Leave notes up. And one last thing, watch for your invitation. Saturday, February 25th for our Patty.
We have a new agent breakfast next Wednesday at Hash House A Go-Go. For anyone that has joined the company in the last month or two, it's a sit-down breakfast with Brandon and Chris to talk about the company and what they can do to help you in your business. So if you'd like to attend that, we get about 10 to 15 agents. Let me know.
Okay. And our gala is Saturday, February 25th. Gala, dress up. If anybody comes in blue jeans, I'm escorting you out the door. There. So you look for your invitation coming soon. And immediately after this, at 11 o'clock in this room, is new agent orientation. So thank y'all for coming and have a good week.